Hi, I'm a Belgian public servant with more than 33 years of experience in developing countries. Many of these countries are very rich in mineral and agricultural resources. Development aid rarely reaches upcountry, with a massive exodus as a consequence. Inside-out development could be a solution to these problems.
Inside Out is a project for the rural development in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Its purpose is to start integrated small-scale green energy projects in isolated communities.
Why Inside Out? Most of the development projects are big or even huge, costing considerable amounts of money. Unfortunately, and for several reasons, little arrives at the rural communities. It seems that only some entrepreneurs and bureaucrats are really able to take advantage of these projects. Inside Out will start its projects at community level, bringing an immediate benefit to the population.
It's not very appealing for the Congolese youth to grow up and to live in the interior. There are no good schools. Good clinics and dispensaries are absent. There's no TV or other distractions. It's quasi impossible to export their production or to import equipment. So they join in droves the big cities.
Qu'est-ce que c'est? Je dis c'est des cahiers. Qu'est-ce que c'est? C'est des stylos. Qu'est-ce que c'est? C'est une latte. Qu'est-ce que c'est? C'est une craie. Ah, mon habite.
Why is that so? There are no sustainable energy sources readily available. Diesel oil and gasoline are transported over long distances, which means they are very expensive and the supply is irregular. On the other hand, electricity supply will remain a future dream for a very long time. No energy means no development. Which are those energy resources? Although the focus of most important international or bilateral energy initiatives seems to be on mammoth projects like the Inga project, Ruzizi, methane gas from Lake Kivu, it's clear that this country is scandalously rich in other energy resources which could be exploited on a local micro scale. Biodiesel, for instance, or sun power, thermal or photovoltaic, methanol or ethanol, micro-hydropower, biogas from biomass, wind energy, geothermal energy, By the way, we don't have to invent anything new, and we don't have to use anything that's not already proven. So, which criteria are essential for these micro-projects to be efficient in isolated communities? First of all, an inventory of all locally available energy resources and their possible usages should be made. Only proven and efficient technologies can be used. Modular construction will be necessary in order to avoid major problems with transportation. Machinery and production should be controllable from a distance and easy to maintain by non-experts. Of course, each integrated project should cost less than $100,000, which will mean a lower psychological threshold for investors and, of course, less bureaucracy. Where should these projects be located? As it is the intention to open up landlocked villages and small cities, smaller, isolated communities should be identified. To do that, one can ask the advice and help of existing rural interest groups, like some NGOs, aid organizations, but also of traditional leaders and, of course, of the government. Which method can be followed? Final year university students can be dropped at selected sites, and each one would make an inventory according his own speciality. Available feedstock for small and micro-scale production of biodiesel, like Euphorbia tyricale, Eleus guineensis, Jatropha curcas, Moringa oleifera, and Stenopetala, Arachis epogea, Sorghum bicolor, and more. The availability of biomass, as from sugarcane, cottonseed hulls, oil palm shells, stalks, fronds and trunks, rice stalks, and more. The presence of exploitable rivers and stream. Research for a locally available wind. The presence of other or old energy and production facilities. The possible use of energy for agriculture, transport, fisheries, mining, small transformation industries, communication, wellness, and distraction. The results of these investigations will be analyzed, and the proposal for a project of the development of that community will be made. Specific solutions will be tested on the field, preferable and not too far from an accessible center with internet facilities, so that extensive control procedures will be possible. The possibility of remote control via sensors will be checked. If the results of the tests are positive, the implementation in the community can follow, and the close supervision of an all-round technical team. If and when the final results are satisfactory, as for efficiency, sustainability, maintenance costs, and commercial viability, it will be possible to use it as a pilot project for the region.
greatest man that you can be. Just be. Walk out on the beach with me. Walk out in the sea with me. Just be.
So, the first thing to do is a thorough field exploration in collaboration with Congolese and foreign institutions. A location will be chosen. Then, an inventory will be drafted, which will include a census of the population and the presence of facilities like housing, roads, schools, dispensaries, and utilities. The vegetation will be examined for the presence of plantations, crops, and feedstock. The possibility for hydropower from rivers, waterfalls, and rapids will be checked, as will the availability of drinking water. The composition of the soil will be analyzed. The suitability for sun and wind projects will also be studied. A detailed description of the available biomass, like the waste of palm oil production, peanuts, sorghum, cotton, and so on. Finally, the possible usages of locally produced energy for the development of agriculture, forestry, mining, fisheries, tourism, and small transformation industries will be looked at.
Next, the data will be processed. The possibilities for the local creation and the use of green energy will be detailed. The goals of the project will be established and commercial interest and viability will be examined. A budget, as small as feasible, and a timetable will be fixed in order to realize the goals. All necessary contacts for the implementation will be taken with the central and local, civil, traditional, and military authorities to prevent all possible hindrances. All machinery and equipment will be bought and shipped. Under the guidance of the engineers, the project will be carried out. Next, control and maintenance routines will be established. A critical evaluation of the project 3 months, 6 months, and 1 year after completion will take place and might result in adapting of the methods. The commercialization of these methods and solutions to other development actors like NGOs, national and international development organizations, and governmental institutions will take place. Finally, some of these projects will be replicated.
So, let's have a look at biodiesel. In order to start with a test project, it won't be necessary to produce a large quantity of biodiesel. Fully automated small production units are readily available in some countries. They are sufficiently efficient, and many of them have the possibility of remote control through sensors. Feedstock for producing biodiesel is also available all over Congo. Such a micro-project will also be able to use waste of edible oil production for food supply, as there are palm oil, peanut oil, and so on.
Some examples of feedstock are pits and hulls of palm nuts, bad coffee beans, Jatropha curcas, castor beans, Pongamia pinnata, eucalyptus oil, hevea nuts, and so on.
Right now we are using cotton seeds for biodiesel. This is a processing loom of biodiesel. Once the oil has been extracted and filtered, and we see that it is mounted to this machine here. The biodiesel is drained through that pipe, that way up to this container, ready for fueling. And our biodiesel is that.
For the production of ethanol and methanol, the following feedstock can be used: sugar cane and bagasse, cassava, sweet potatoes, biomass from Euphorbia tyricale, and other waste containing cellulose, like palm nut bunches, rice hulls, and stalks.
Hi, I'm Tom Quinn, the founder and CEO of E-Fuel Corporation, and this is our microfueler. The microfueler is a waste to energy converter. It takes any organic waste, pretty much converts it into an ethanol fuel that can be run in any vehicle. It can also power what we call our grid buster. This is an electronic generator that generates electricity to power your home. And it also uses the fuel from here to power the generator and vice versa. The heat from the generator also runs the microfueler to produce the fuel. And together, this enables you to have heat for your home, electricity for your home, and fuel for your vehicles. And it's all done by organic fuel. There's no fossil fuel at all to generate any three of these energy sources.
Let's have a look at micro hydropower. In the DRC there are hundreds of rivers, falls and rapids suitable for generating hydropower. The two main ways to produce this power are penstock and turbine, or floating hydro generators. There is also the possibility in some places to use pools and cisterns as storage for energy.
With average rainfall of over 300 centimeters per year and a large amount of runoff from the snows of Mount Kenya, the Embu district has an abundance of water. But this district, like many in Kenya, lacks infrastructure, and many communities are not on the country's electrical grid. Near the town of Chuka, people have banded together to use hydropower to meet their electricity needs. With the help of the Global Environment Facility's Small Grants Program, which is managed by the United Nations Development Program, the community has set up a hydropowered turbine to supply power to 56 homes. The water-driven turbine now provides 20 kilowatts of power, and the community hopes it will soon reach its maximum capacity of double that amount. This would connect a total of about 150 homes with electrical power. Traditionally, people in the Embu district rely on wood and kerosene as their main sources of energy. Because of this, forests are being chopped down for firewood, and respiratory health problems caused by smoky fumes are all too common. The small hydropower plants allow communities in the region to use electricity for most of their needs. Joseph Mwengi's farm got electricity for the first time only a few months ago. Now his family uses this new power source for chores as well as entertainment. Nearby, a hydropower plant is supplying electricity to a small community industrial center. Businesses in the center use the power to cater to people's basic needs. One shop houses a hairdresser as well as a station to charge mobile phones. Other businesses here charge car batteries, sell cold soft drinks, and repair machinery. Community leader David Magambo says this is a very important step in local development.
The center is very important because particularly from here, people have been going to a major town like Chuka, which is over 13 kilometers, to charge their battery and other small businesses that are taking place within the center.
Making renewable energy sources like hydropower accessible to less developed regions and communities is a way to address Kenya's infrastructure problems and get clean energy to those who need it most, all the while supporting sustainable use of the natural environment. Ben Kraft reporting for UNDP.
Next, we have sun power. The use of photovoltaic arrays to generate electricity is not new in the interior of the DRC. But these installations are actually limited to centers which are already somewhat developed, like missions and small mining industries. Small generators driven by sun power can be installed without too much of technical knowledge.
In parts of the Congo, it will also be possible to use wind power. The efficiency of the design of the windmills has enormously progressed this century. It's now possible to generate usable electricity at wind speeds as low as 15 kilometers per hour.
biogas. In those regions in the Congo where there are a lot of cows, it should be possible to implement biogas production on a village scale.
Nalem is cooking with gas, but in her pastoralist community in the remote Karamoja region of Uganda, there's no main supply. Instead, the source? Cow dung. By mixing it with water and feeding it into a fermentation tube, the dung produces biogas, which is piped to stoves for cooking.
The machine looks very strange, but now I can cook without going out to collect firewood every day.
Normally it's the job of women and girls to collect the firewood. The area is unstable and they're vulnerable to attack or even rape by men from rival clans. The demand for wood is also steadily destroying the trees. It's the poorest and least developed part of the country, but cow patties are in abundance. Here in Karamoja, cows are everything. They're central to people's survival and to their culture, and they're also bursting full of renewable energy. This new source of fuel could provide a means to reducing the strain on the environment. The fermenter was provided by UNICEF as a pilot scheme. It's new technology that they hope to scale up across the region. However, at first, it was met with resistance.
They were suspicious why we would get into using dung to make a fire. They did not understand the whole concept. The first time they saw fire coming and getting to the burner, they were so excited. It was an excitement for the whole homestead.
But challenges remain. Most of all, there's not much food to cook. But for Nalem, life's now a little easier. Malcolm Webb, Al Jazeera, Karamoja, Uganda.
So, to conclude, Inside Out is a rural development project. This can be achieved through state-of-the-art technologies. Each project should be small and fully integrated, cheap, of high quality and easy to maintain. Inside Out is directed at non-governmental organizations, private investment and research institutions.